week, we are talking about some of the craziest SEO news that's been popping off lately. It's been a dramatic week, all sorts of craziness, all sorts of madness involving hundreds of millions of dollars. I'm going to come on to that. I will also come on to the new algorithm update that has just been released, literally within, I would say, like the last sort of 10 hours or so. We're going to be talking AI in ChatGPT's new search function. I've been testing it today and looking at a few things that have been evolved. We'll also be looking at the future of SEO with AI, including quotes from the ex-CEO of Google. And we'll be looking at who got hit this week, who didn't, who's winning, etc. We're going to get straight into it. If you're enjoying the video, please smash a like on it. And if you have any questions along the way, feel free to comment and I will try and help you out live on the call, give you some advice there. And that's what we're all about today. So I'm going to share my screen and I'll show you exactly what we're talking about, what we're yapping on about today. And it's pretty interesting times, honestly, because I've never seen such a dramatic period for SEO as is happening right now. It's pretty crazy. So let me open my screen and I'll show you exactly what I mean. By the way, if you want a free SEO strategy session and you're totally lost in the chaos, as a lot of us are, then feel free to book that in links inside the comments and description and we can run through it. But what I want to show you first of all is the SERP volatility for the last 30 days. Now, as you see right here, yesterday, Thursday, May the 9th, it popped off at 9.0 in terms of volatility, right? So this is SEMrush's sensor. It looks at the volatility of SERPs, etc., sees what's going on. And you can see right here that we're still in the high range, but as you can imagine, it was even higher yesterday. And a lot of people saw the traffic shift. So if you look at your Google Search Console today and you're like, what the heck happened over the last couple of days? At least you know why. And I think there's a lot of updates, but I'm going to come on to what Google officially says about that in a second. MD Akash, shout out to MD, says hello Julian, and Top Trend says what you say about current update, wait or move on to new website. So I'll come on to that comment in a minute actually, and we'll talk more about that in detail in a second. Lily says, hey Julian, shout out to you Lily, thanks for joining the SEO boardroom. I know you joined a couple of weeks ago, appreciate you joining, and we're going to get straight into the live stream and what is popping off right here. So basically, there's been a few algorithm updates, and a lot of people on Twitter were complaining about, like, okay, why is this not being announced officially? Why is this not announced on the dashboard, etc.? And I'm going to show you what Google officially says about this. It's quite interesting. I think it's good for a lot of people to understand this. So you can see I've done my research here. We're pulling up 3 different tweets from Google Search Liaison, but you can see right here that this is not related to the site reputation abuse update as far as I'm aware, right? So basically, Google, they do have a site reputation abuse update coming out, and they've done a lot of manual actions at the minute, but there's no algorithmic element out just yet, and that's not been announced on their official website. But what you can see is that Google have been constantly making some new changes, including the changes that you can see yesterday. So you see it's been very, very volatile over the last 3 days, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And basically what they've said is that there's constantly an update. So there's literally loads of little small updates rolling out, but actually these are more volatile than I would usually expect to see. And they've said, and people have been asking, like, why don't they announce it officially on the website? So normally they have this search updates dashboard, as you can see right here. Let's open this up and we can see all the updates. In fact, if we go back a second there, if we go to list of ranking updates, you can see the May the 5th site reputation algorithmic update is not announced officially there. So why is that? Well, basically, it's because they're doing all these little tiny core updates, as you can see. So they don't announce every single one of them because that would be a bit mental, as you can imagine. I kind of get that, but this seems like bigger than just a small little algorithm tweak. This is not like changing the color of a button or something like that. That seems to be pretty volatile. A lot of people have been posting their traffic and that sort of thing. Luke Winston says, hey mate, shout out to Luke. Thanks for watching. We're going to keep rolling through some of the latest updates. But yeah, it's very interesting to see how there's a lot of volatility this week. Obviously, there was a lot of manual action penalties. And if you're seeing traffic all over the place, yeah, probably the case. I'm going to show you something that actually changed the SERPs a lot as well recently. But first of all, I want to show you something interesting that I noticed just recently, right? So if I say, what is GPT-2 AI? And we open this up, Google's actually started launching a new, sorry, not Google, ChatGPT and OpenAI have started launching like this new search feature into their results, right? And there's a big announcement coming actually on Monday, apparently. So according to this tweet by Majidadin, hope I pronounced that one right, says that OpenAI will reportedly announce their Google search engine competitor next Monday. It'll be powered by ChatGPT. I think that could be absolutely massive because right now there's not a massive adoption of ChatGPT and it is free, right? And it's very, very useful. So you can imagine that at some point they're going to release their own search engine because typically the results are better in ChatGPT. When I use it, I'm like, this is more useful than ChatGPT. The only problem with that is that, as you can see, if you type in something like what is GPT-2 AI, it doesn't really give you any sort of links outwards, right? So you don't get any links to other websites, which means that it could hurt a lot of people's traffic. So just something to bear in mind there. And Herbert has said that OpenAI will launch their competitor to Google Search, as confirmed by Reuters. So they're going to unveil the AI-powered search engine on Monday. Bear in mind, it's Friday today, so it's only like 2 or 3 days away. And their new search tool is based on ChatGPT technology and can fetch information directly from the web. The announcement could come a day before Google's annual developer conference, which is pretty interesting timing, right? So they're announcing this update before the developer conference. And I can imagine that's going to be a pretty massive update right there. I'm going to try and open this up because when I was testing it before, ChatGPT was actually doing a lot of searching for me. But from what I've seen, when I've just tested out there, it didn't actually search the web for me. So I'm just going to try another search here, and we'll say, okay, what is the latest SEO news today? And we'll see if that pops up with something. The thing I noticed with this is like it's really fast. You can see it's browsing. It's searched 5 different sites. It's linked to Search Engine Land and Search Engine Journal. But yeah, you can see that's basically like a search engine right now. And I would say, I don't know, it'd be interesting to compare like side by side. How does ChatGPT compare with Google when it comes to actually searching this stuff? I'll come on to that in a second, but I want to look at some of the latest questions and comments that we've got right here. So Jeff Meekin says, "Sup, Mr. Goldie? Good to have you on here, Jeff." And Abdullah the great one himself, says, "Hello, sir. Shout out to you." And I'm gonna just quickly answer some questions before I move on to checking out this GPT because I want to help you first. So Top Trend says, "What do you say about the current update? Wait or move on to a new website?" So really depends what situation you're in, right? So if your website got hit by the helpful content update and then it got hit again by the core update, it's definitely time to start looking at other ways to get traffic, potentially new sites, and being very patient because it might be like 13 months before you get traffic back. If it's just like you've been hit a little bit over the last, I don't know, couple of months or so, then I would probably at this point, yeah, start looking at ways to change your website, but don't do anything drastic, right? So just small little high leverage changes I find are the best way to go about it. MD Akash says, "What do you think about the future of rank and rent SEO?" I think it's looking really promising. I think that from all my tests, I actually release like daily experiments and tests inside my SEO boardroom. But from those tests, and I actually launched a local SEO mastery section inside my SEO Elite Circle today. But inside that course, it shows you exactly what's working for me right now. And the thing that I say is that local SEO is one of the least saturated, least competitive ways to get traffic in pretty much any city in the world, which means that if you're a remote business and you're selling like a service or a product or even an e-commerce product, right, then you can get traffic from anywhere in the world. You have like no competition and it's very easy to do. I mean, this is an example of this. If we plug some keywords into, let's open up Clixo right here. If we check out Clixo, and by the way, if you use the code Goldie inside Clixo, you will save 15%. But basically, if you go into like keywords over here and you're in something super competitive, let's say like, I don't know, SEO, what you can do is type in like SEO London right here. And it's just so easy to find low keyword difficulty competition keywords. So if we go to the phrase match over here, click on see all, and then we're going to filter the difficulty by like 20 maximum. You can see that there's all these keywords, literally like 10 different pages of keywords you could potentially rank for. And so I think rank and rent SEO, or I honestly prefer local SEO and just funneling traffic to a business I already have rather than rank and rent SEO. But if you're doing any type of local SEO, massive opportunity right now. And I think that's only going to continue. I don't see Google clamping down on it unless it becomes a problem, right? So if the local SEO SERPs are just trash and they're full of spam, and you're not manually editing your content and the whole internet starts doing that, then they have to clamp down on it. But if you're actually providing something of value inside the content that you're creating and then ranking for that keyword, you're off to a winner. That's what I say. Hot Media says, I noticed Blogspot websites are not ranking like before. Is there any way to complain to Google to make adjustments? Only WordPress sites rank nowadays. So you can't get Google on the blower. I'll be 100% honest with you. Like, no one's going to answer the phone there. But what you can do, actually, and this is something I've not seen before, but if we go on to, I'm going to try and find Google Forms right here. Where is it now? It's disappeared out of my history. There is a form you can fill in that was released after the March core update where you could basically complain about the results and what happened. And if you're not happy with, like, okay, the results right now, then that's one of the best ways to do it. But I'm trying to find if I can get the. I can't find that at all. Let me find it. Docs.google.com. No, it's disappeared out of the history. But basically, there's a form that Google released after the core update where you can complain directly to Google. Now, I don't know if that's going to do anything. I don't know if they're going to respond to every request or what they're planning to do about that. But basically, you can fill out in that form exactly what you don't like about the SERPs and what you think should be ranking and why that is. Let me try and find it in here as well. I'm going to try and grab this for you. And if I can't find it after a quick search, then it's worth just Googling yourself. But but yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't think like Blogspot is the best place to create content and rank it anyway, because you don't own that domain. Oh, it's disappeared totally out the old history. But yeah, I think that's one of the best ways to do it. Let's have a look. Abdullah the Great says Blogspot websites have lost their worth after the Google March updates. I think honestly they were always on a downward decline, right? So let's try and open up Blogspot and we'll see if they were actually on a positive trajectory. It's quite interesting to see that. I don't know many people who are making bank using Blogspot SEO, but I know it's a free platform that a lot of people can use. That doesn't seem right to me. Yeah. Anyway, we'll keep going through it. Jeff Meekin says, how do you go about researching different sites, gains, drops before discussing them on these videos? That's a great question. So what I actually do is I'll go onto Twitter and I'll try and find like examples of screenshots people posted, what's going on. And I think that's one of the best ways to do it. I actually tend to use that as a search engine rather than Google directly if I'm trying to look for the latest news, because people post in real time and everyone's given a chance to rank. It's usually like the content with the best engagement, not the best amount of authority that ranks on Twitter directly. The other thing that I would say is like just put in certain keywords. So for me, I quite often type in like HCU or Google update or SEO. I look at Charles Float's account as well. He's usually up to date and pretty bang on in terms of what he posts on there. And that's a good way. Also, Lily Ray, she posts a lot. Barry Schwartz as well. And then Google Search Liaison is pretty good. And then from all those accounts, also Glenn Allsop, from all those accounts, you can easily collate like the latest websites that have taken a hit, done well, not done well, etc., and just create some notes based on that. Usually I try and find like 2 or 3 examples for each video that I create. And then eventually, once you've done enough videos like me, so for example, I usually do a video about this sort of stuff like every week at least, or 2 or 3 times a week. When I'm doing that so consistently, you build up a bank of websites that you monitor. So, for example, like cakesbymk.com, that's an example I like to check out a lot. Outlook India, I've been talking about them for months now. So these sort of sites you can just collate over time and check them and see what their rankings are like. All right, let's keep going back to the search engine on ChatGPT, and then we'll answer a few more questions as well. So I'm going to share my screen right here, and we'll get straight into it again. So yeah, if we compare, say, the search results from ChatGPT right here, and I'm sure it's going to change on Monday after this announcement is released. But if we check right here, it kind of gets straight to the point, right? And it talks about the latest core update and that sort of thing. But it doesn't really talk about the latest updates in terms of what happened today, right? So it's not that useful. Whereas if you go onto Google and you type is what is the latest SEO news today, it's even harder to find. Like there's no mention of site reputation abuse. Whereas if, for example, you go onto Twitter and you're like, okay, Google update, in this top section right here, it's going to collate like the most recent news about the updates. So if you look at each of these search engines right now, like Twitter is probably the best one, right? I can imagine TikTok's pretty good as well if there's some high quality content on there that people are posting regularly. All right, let's get straight through some of the other comments that we've got. So Savers Word 007, shout out to the James Bond of SEO, says, will the new ChatGPT search engine rank websites and will it rank AI articles? So it's all hearsay right now, right? But what I can imagine is that these AI search engines, for example, like the new one that ChatGPT is about to release, I can imagine they're not going to link out to a lot of people. Now, I've got some interesting insights that I'm going to come on to. In fact, this is probably the best time to talk about it. But if you look, there's a really interesting interview on YouTube between the old CEO of Google, Eric Schmidt, who's talking about AI and the future of search and the future of Google, etc. And I think this is gradually becoming more mainstream, honestly. So I'm going to share my screen. I'll show you exactly what I mean and what I'm talking about and what he said specifically about the whole situation, right? So old ex-Google of CEO says, Eric Schmidt said that Google is not about blue links, aka linking out. So, for example, these clickable links here are all blue links pointing out to other websites. And so, what they've actually said is you can imagine he doesn't expect, for example, AI or these other tools to link out directly to other people. More, what it's more going to be about is like actually just answering the question on the spot. So I think with these AI search engines, for example, if ChatGPT releases one, if Gemini becomes more popular, if Search Generative Experience comes out as well, then I think there's going to be less traffic for other websites. I think that there's going to be less clickable links. I think the AI probably will link to like one or two sites if you're lucky. And that's basically going to be it. Like, for example, if we go into ChatGPT and we look at that recent search that I opened, you can see there's only links to two websites, right? Search Engine Land and Search Engine Journal. The interesting thing about both of these is that these are quite high DR websites. Now, I don't know whether backlinks or authority is built into ChatGPT in the same way. I think that would take a lot more analysis and experimenting with. But it's interesting to see that two of the biggest websites in that niche are the ones that are ranking and getting traffic. But even then, right, it's taking the content from there, but the link is not right at the top. It's not very obvious to click. In fact, most people are just going to see that as kind of like a footnote and wouldn't click out to it. So it's probably not going to get a lot of traffic right there. Let's see what else we got then. So Abdullah the Great says, sir, AI content helps in ranking or not? And also tell us how to make our top authority using AI. Okay, two good questions there. So number one, AI content, I've seen it ranking better than ever. And I've shown multiple examples of that, right? So for example, originality AI popping off right there. If you look, for example, at some of my case studies inside the SEO boardroom, you'll see AI sites are just ranking really well. Additionally, if you look at income stream surfers, and his site, his client site, twomen.it, you can see that their traffic is going up over time with AI content. But the key to all of this is that if you're creating AI content, you've got to be manually checking it, because if you're not, there's a high chance that at some point it's going to take a hit, because AI without any sort of oversight or management tends to go off on a bit of a rampage and talk nonsense. And additionally, that sort of AI content, it doesn't convert so well. So definitely ranks. There are plenty of sites making money off it. There are plenty of sites ranking really well with it. I've shown you a couple of examples already today. The other thing that I would say about AI content is if you look at the recent updates and just ignore the manual actions, if you just look purely at the sites that are performing really well algorithmically, well, you can see that a lot of AI sites are performing very well algorithmically, and a lot of sites that were human written by actual experts buying products and reviewing them, affiliates, ad sites as well. A lot of those took a massive hit. So it's quite interesting to see that. Majid says, do you think Google is moving towards a slow death? I know there's a lot of pessimism around the future of Google, and we've seen the market share drop over time. I think there's two contradictory sort of sides of the table here, because you could say Google is doing really well. If you look at their stock price, like it's higher than it's ever been and it's going to the moon. It doesn't seem like it's slowing down at any point. But then at the same time, if you look at the market share and you look at the growth in Bing's traffic and Bing's market share versus Google's, you'll see that Bing is on an upwards trajectory and Google's on a downwards trajectory. So it really depends. I think there's a bit of a lag, right? So if you look at the stock price, that's based on like the previous 3 months. It's not based on this quarter. So really, if you want to see if Google's on a downward trajectory, I would probably wait at least 6 or 9 months, look at the annual earnings reports, look at the stock price after that point, and then see, because there's always a bit of a lag period. But I certainly think that it's a dangerous time for Google. I think that they've got a lot of changes to make. That's why all these Google updates are coming along. That's why all these manual action penalties that have never been seen before are popping out. It's because they have to do something to clean up the SERPs. And then additionally, there's just never been such a volatile time, right? Like if you look at the way the AI is changing the game, if you look at the way that publishers who are actually creating great content are getting hit, for example, like housefresh.com or Wealth of Geeks, these sites are like good sites just taking a big hit. MD Akash says, please make some tutorials on local SEO. So I have a few YouTube videos on it if you type local SEO onto YouTube. Additionally, if you want to get more information on that, check out the SEO Elite Circle. It's inside the description and it comes with like literally about 10 different courses on SEO. One of them includes local SEO and based on what's working for me in 2024. So you might want to check that out. And Sarvesh says, hey mate, how do you remain so consistent with video production? I feel like 10 videos and already feeling burned out. So for me, there's a few different ways you can do this. Number one, right? If you say to yourself, I'm going to commit to doing 30 videos and I do one every day for a month, then that's probably one of the best ways to just build up a habit. And it literally is like just training your brain to think about and do this stuff and take action every single day. There's no difference between, say, someone who publishes every single day versus someone who doesn't in terms of like their energy or in terms of their creativity. I don't think there's any difference there. The only difference is how committed are you. And the thing is, even if your video isn't perfect, don't worry about it. Still publish it, right? That's one of the other things. What I would also say, and I'm just going to share my screen and I'll show you some examples right now. But what I would also say here is that if you're using tools like, for example, Descript to record your content, then everything is going to be easier because you can just record screen shares. For example, like you can see today, I've already recorded how many? Let's have a look. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's have a look in the quick recordings. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 videos today, right? Just in the quick recordings right there. And the way that I can do it so quickly and at such scale is by just using Descript. So I click on this little quick recorder right here, it shows my face in the bottom left, and I can just record my screen and show something that I'm going to do anyway, right? So for example, I have to do keyword research daily. That's just part of what I do as a business. And so I'll record that process every single time I do it. And then, that might be 10 or 15 minutes of a SEO video that I can release. Additionally, one of the other things is like celebrating the little wins along the way. So for me, you got to keep yourself motivated if you want to avoid burnout. How do you do that? Well, you celebrate when you hit 100 subscribers, or you celebrate when you get 1,000 subscribers. You pat yourself on the back and you ask yourself as well what you're grateful for each day. That tends to help a lot. But yeah, just keeping everything lightweight. And then also, ignore all the BS that you hear from YouTube consultants, YouTube SEO experts, YouTube agencies, content experts, etc. Ignore all the BS that you hear about, oh, you need perfect production quality, or you need this camera, or you need a certain microphone, or you need to be editing your videos in the right way, or you need to be worrying about all this nonsense. I wouldn't worry about any of that. I would just focus on getting the content out every single day, because most of those experts who tell you what to do are not doing it themselves. Most YouTube SEO consultants don't have their own YouTube channel. They're not performing well anyway. So just something to bear in mind based on my personal experience. There are some good YouTube SEO experts out there, but they're rare and they're very expensive. So yeah, just focus on keeping things lightweight, being very efficient, being very committed. And then also, what I would recommend if you're really struggling, if you're feeling super burned out, right? First thing in the morning, I don't know if you drink coffee or not, but what I would try and do, have a coffee, don't check my phone, don't check the emails, don't answer any messages, don't do anything apart from literally like getting dressed, having a shower, and then recording a video for say like 30 minutes. If you do that every single morning, it's like a massive mental weight has been lifted off your back, right? And you're no longer carrying that anchor that's slowing you down all day. And so when you're creating content at such scale like this, it can burn you out, it can fatigue you. But if you do it first thing in the morning, when you're full of energy and you're full of life, you don't need to worry about it again for 24 hours. So you're good to go from there. Let's keep going now. So Sid says, Julian, hey, I know about the basics of SEO and providing services to clients on technical SEO. Need to learn advanced SEO, but how? Actually, don't want to join any courses. Is there any free ways around? Yeah. Best way to learn advanced SEO is to just test it yourself. And what I mean by that is setting certain milestones for yourself, right? So, for example, if you want to learn advanced SEO, then just start your own website, start it from scratch, start from zero, right? And zero would be like beginner mode. And then when you get to like $2,000 or $3,000 a month and you've scaled that SEO traffic and you learn by doing and you learn by what's working and what's not, then from there you can easily sort of graduate in terms of your learnings, your developments and that sort of thing. And then finally, I would set a goal of like hitting 10K a month or 20K or 30K a month with your website. And from there, you can just gradually keep scaling and advancing your skills. And I think as long as you're constantly learning, testing, and experimenting and pushing the limits, then you're always going to be improving your skill set. So yeah, that's probably the best way to do it for free. And also, if you do it for free like that, you're gonna have loads of case studies that would land you loads of clients. You'd learn loads of things along the way. You wouldn't be one of those SEOs who's just making stuff up without actually testing it. And it's completely free. You're not paying for a course or a mastermind or anything like that. It is a long, hard, lonely journey. That's why I started the SEO boardroom. But that's probably the best way to do it for free if you really want to. Coding Shiksha says, let's have a look. Do you see any ordinary affiliate websites which has written blog for a product ranking for a purchasing keyword on number one after these updates? Yeah, I want to show you a good example that probably most people will know but haven't been following. And I'm just going to pull this up and hopefully we can show you some examples. So obviously I've had them on the YouTube channel already and interviewed them already. So I think this is a good experiment to show you what's working. So if you are an affiliate, you can see an example of a site that's ranking really well. And this is Authority Hacker, right? So Authority Hacker, Gail Breton, Mark Webster, they're ranking really well for affiliate related keywords, even after the updates. So you can see them ranking for position number one right there. Let's keep going now. Position number one right here. Lots of affiliate keywords on the website, lots of affiliate programs that they're ranking for example, like Writer AI right there, and fashion affiliate programs, etc. SERP tracking software, that's an affiliate keyword. You can see them ranking. Real estate affiliate program, etc. Right? Mental health affiliate programs, Netflix. You can see they're going for loads of affiliate program keywords, right? And so it is absolutely possible. It takes a long time. I mean, it takes a lot of backlinks as well. So, for example, they're a DR78 website and they've got a lot of VAT and the content is really, really good. But basically, you can see what's working and how it's going. Sazid says, following up, sorry to talk off topic, off the live, and hopefully I answered your question there, Sazid. Jeff says, thanks, Julian, appreciate it, man. Happy to help. And Coding Shiksha says, I have a tool website. What's the best way of monetizing the traffic? Through ads or creating a SaaS subscription base or one-time payment for users to use the tools? I think the latter one is good. So I'm no SaaS expert, but I do own a couple of tools, right? I can talk you through what I think is the best strategy. So, and this is based on what I've seen working for other people as well. So when you're focusing on selling a SaaS software, if you do like a lifetime deal, that's no recurring income. So the MMR doesn't increase. Now, if you look at some of the biggest SaaS companies in the world, for example, I don't know, like ClickFunnels or Alex Becker's Hyros, for example, as well, like the reason that they're doing so well is because they focus on monthly recurring revenue, aka MMR. And so they're selling a monthly subscription to a SaaS software, and that equals income that grows over time. So I think that's probably the best way to monetize. Now, like I say, I'm no SaaS expert. I haven't built my own $100 million SaaS, but that's what I've noticed over time. Now, the other thing that you can do, and this is what worked really well for Lemlist. If you ever saw the growth of Lemlist, back in the day when I was first starting link building, Lemlist weren't even on the radar. They weren't even on the map. And Guillaume, the owner, basically took them from like zero to a company worth 8 figures easily, right? And so One of the best ways that he did this was with community. So he had a Facebook group and he had a Slack channel all about outreach and email outreach. And he had this tool for email outreach called Lemlist. And that's basically how he differentiated his software from everyone else, by creating a community, a tribe of winners. And if you have a community of people who trust you and you give value to them every single day, then that's always going to lead to good things. It's going to lead to more sales. It's going to lead to more customers. It's going to lead to higher retention rates. It's going to make your SaaS software sticky. I mean, even if you have like a website, just in general, building a community is one of the best things that you can do, because it just differentiates you and it brings in recurring income. But additionally, it helps you build a better connection with your audience. The more you can understand your audience, the more money you're going to make. Mohammed says hello. Hello to you too. Basharat says hello. Good to see you on here again, Basharat. Coding Shiksha is all about the questions today. So shout out to Coding Shiksha. Says, do you feel with the advent of AI and ChatGPT, it has more disadvantages? People losing jobs and also bloggers facing problems. Do you also feel that in the future AI robots will replace humans? It depends how far in the future, right? So if you're looking, I don't know, 100 years down the road, then for sure, like you should be worried about AI. You should see it as a threat, because inevitably it's going to replace a lot of what we do today. Unlike a lot of technologies which create new jobs, the thing about AI is that it moves so quickly, it moves so fast, and it can replicate things so quickly. As an example of that, if you look at a lot of content agencies last year, a lot of those companies went from like being worth millions of dollars to actually shutting down because they couldn't get enough customers. Now, why is that? It's because ChatGPT moved so quickly and it became so ubiquitous so quickly. And so I think that it is a threat. And if you're looking 100 years down the road, it's going to be a scary time for those future generations. What I would also say, though, at the same time, is that there's loads of opportunities that come with this. So, for example, if you look at my YouTube channel, when I started YouTube again in 2023 of January, back then I had about 3,000 subscribers. Now I have 102,000 subscribers. That's all down to everyone in this community, so I appreciate that. But at the same time, it's only because I found that niche as well of AI and SEO and combining them. So there's all these opportunities in these gaps that open up if you're willing to offer massive value. And the main thing is here that you're constantly staying up to date. You're watching videos like this. You're understanding and testing the software yourself, and you're just staying ahead of the curve. Because bear in mind, like the last time I checked, 85% of the world had not used ChatGPT before. So bear in mind, if you're watching this channel, you're probably not only using ChatGPT, but you probably understand it at a better level than 99% of the rest of the population, which means that you're already at the front of the curve. You're already ahead of the crowd. If you're ahead of the crowd, you're totally fine. But if you're in that last 10% to finally use ChatGPT and understand what it is, it's already too late. As an example of that, if you look at the rise of the internet and the web, sadly, there were some people who decided, I'm not going to use this, I'm not going to understand it, whatever, and they just got left behind as a generation. There is a gap of people who just never learned to use the internet. And so you just have to make sure that you're at the front of the crowd, not at the back of it, and that you're constantly testing and learning. The good thing is that most people are not willing to learn and they're not willing to put in the work. So if you're one of those people, then you're always going to win. Basharat says, sir, can we get backlinks idea from ChatGPT? If yes, then how? So honestly, ChatGPT is okay for building backlinks in terms of writing email funnels. So that's probably the main thing that we use it for, is writing email funnels. But for actually building backlinks, I don't think it's great. However, as a caveat to that, if you look at some of my top custom GPTs, and we'll pull some up right here. In fact, I'll pull up the list whilst it's loading because it seems to be a little bit slow today. If we pull up this list and let's open up a few. So let's go on the SEO outline creator, see if that's getting any traffic. Some of these won't get any traffic, but some of them will. So let's see which ones are and which ones aren't. Let's keep going through the list. So for example, the keyword research tool, we can see whether that's getting traffic right here. Yeah, so you can see, for example, this tool right here is generating backlinks directly to the page, right? So it's got 1,500 backlinks from 34 domains. It's ranking for 166 keywords and getting 87 traffic. And bear in mind, every time someone uses this ChatGPT, this custom GPT right here, it's sending traffic to my funnels as well. So it's generating backlinks, it's ranking for keywords, it's converting traffic into money. And I think that's probably the best link building strategy that you can implement with ChatGPT directly. So for example, if I go onto this tool and I'm like, give me some keywords for the cat's niche, something like that, right? We'll plug that in, hit enter right here. It's going to actually do the job, but it's also going to funnel people directly to a free SEO strategy session, as you can see right here. And so this is converting the traffic that's actually using this tool. And bear in mind, they're already going to be interested in SEO and growing their website's traffic. And it's funneling them towards my SEO agency to generate more sales calls. And so it doesn't just get backlinks. It doesn't just rank for keywords. It doesn't just get traffic, but it also converts that traffic into money. So I would say all round, that's probably the most efficient way and use case of using ChatGPT for backlinks. Raja says, do you believe that more people will quit blogging after this core update, leaving room and opportunity for others who want to come in? Absolutely. I think that's the best way to look at it as well. I pulled up a tweet from Corey Togberg the other week, and he was saying like how he sees SEO between 2023 and 2026 as a transitory period, right? Where there's going to be a lot of SEOs who quit. In fact, he estimated 40% of SEOs are going to quit. And so that leaves a lot of room for people who are watching videos like this to learn, to be at the front of the pack, and to take those opportunities. As an example of that, right? If you look at the way that AI is developing, and bear in mind, we've already talked about it ranking. I've already mentioned lots of case studies for websites ranking with AI. If you look at sites like those, there's an opportunity for someone like you to come along and create a brand new service where it's AI generated content, it's manually edited and quality checked, and then all the client has to do is post it to their website, right? Stuff like that is a massive opportunity that hasn't really been invented yet. I mean, like I use AI tools all the time and I've not seen a really good service for that or a really good tool. And so these are the sort of opportunities you want to get into. Now, the other thing that I would say is that a lot of people are shutting down and not even publishing content on their website anymore. As an example of that, I've got a friend in Bangkok who is creating content or was creating content on his SEO agency site, and he just stopped because he got hit by the helpful content update. Then he got hit by the March core update. And then he was like, well, it's just not even worth having a writer anymore. So he fired his writer, sadly, due to the core updates, and the writer lost their job because of that situation. And he's like, right, I'm just going to invest into Facebook ads instead. Now, that's a prime example of people leaving the industry that they're in, which opens up more opportunities and more gaps for people like you who believe in SEO, who understand how to rank websites and are in it for the long haul. Now, at the same time, you have to know when to quit and when to stop, and you have to know when to adapt and when to learn as well. But it seems like if you're asking questions like that on a live like this, then you know what you're doing already. So Sid says, man, I got great suggestions. Thanks a lot. I'll do that and come back to you live in the future. Thanks for watching. Really appreciate that. And Red Dunk says, did SEO evolve into generative search? Well, generative engine optimization. This is a really good question. I can see that happening for sure. Like if you look at, I don't think it's happened like 100% just yet, but I think it's just a matter of time, right? So if you look at the way that search is evolving, if OpenAI release a new update and they release their own search engine, and then Perplexity do as well, and then Google release search generative experience into their updates as well, then yeah, for sure, it's not going to be about ranking and getting the blue link anymore. It's going to be about how can you optimize your website and be recommended within the search results. So for example, if someone types in like best SEO agency and it recommends my agency, Goldie Agency, then that would be an example of generative engine optimization. I think a lot of people call it AEO, something like that. Like basically artificial intelligence optimization, right? AIO. And basically just a way of ranking your website within AI and within the chatbots, and then getting sales directly from there. If you can do that, you're probably winning. As an example of that, I had a friend who sells like video game addiction courses, and someone actually bought from him the other day just by getting recommendations directly from ChatGPT. So definitely works. And it's probably one of the most convincing levels of social proof. Because for example, if you get a recommendation on Google, you're like, that's just an affiliate, mate. Like, I don't want to buy from that link. But if it's directly from ChatGPT, probably holds a lot more authority because you're like, well, this is artificial intelligence. It's smarter than I am, smarter than a few of us put together, and therefore, would I trust that more? Potentially. Roger says, if Google is rewarding forums and e-commerce, can we add a forum and a print-on-demand store on our site? That's an interesting one. I think a print-on-demand, having any sort of store, like a legitimate store on your website, is probably a good signal, especially when you're trying to rank your website. If you look at the success of so many e-commerce stores over the last updates. Now, if you're going to do that, you want to make sure it converts as well, because if you're driving traffic to your store, then you've got to make sure that you actually make money from it on the spot. So yeah, I think launching an e-commerce store on your site, if it's relevant and if it converts, makes total sense to me. I'm just going to pull up some examples right here of other stuff that I've seen recently. So here's something interesting just on the topic of Reddit that I saw pop off on Twitter recently. So if we pull up this example right here, Brody Clark he's been pushing out some bangers recently on Twitter. I tell you that for free. And he was basically saying that Google is now testing the discussions and forums feature much more heavily outside the US. Within the US, it appears for 25 million queries where Reddit ranks. In the UK, it now appears for 64,000 queries. Reddit is about to become a lot more visible globally. So this is pretty crazy because Reddit, obviously, it's already popped off after the latest updates, but potentially now it's ready to take off even more. And so I predicted this before the site reputation abuse update. So if you check out my video on Sunday, you'll see that already. I already posted it last Sunday. But yeah, I predicted that Reddit would get even more traffic after this update, and it seems like that's already happening. So pretty crazy to see right there. Roger says, thanks for being so healthy. Happy to help. And KKS says, my pages seem to be de-indexed or seem to be indexed in the command site, but not showing the results when you actually Google it. And the impressions had a huge drop, also the visits. So it's really hard to know without checking out your website. But if you want a custom tailored SEO strategy session where we can literally pull up your site, look at the analytics, see what you're ranking for, see what you're doing right and what you're doing wrong and how you can optimize your website better, then feel free to book in a free SEO strategy session. Otherwise, if you want to check out the SEO boardroom directly inside the comments and description, I've already done a couple of site teardowns inside there and posted the videos on my community. If you want us to take a look at your site as well, just feel free to sign up to the SEO boardroom. I can tear down the site, give you some ideas of why you're not ranking, and just probably create a video for you directly where you can see exactly what you need to do to improve. Nice Boy 595 says, how can I find out for free the number of pages a website links to? I'm asking because backlinks from pages with fewer outgoing links tend to be more valuable, right? This is a little bit cheeky, but there's two ways you could do that. So for free, it's going to be quite difficult. Maybe Ahrefs have a free backlink tracker, but I'm not 100% sure on that. What you could do is just sign up for a free trial of like SEMrush or SE Ranking. Get the free trial. It's up to you whether you continue or not, but that'll give you the metrics you need during that free trial. And then you can decide, okay, do I want to keep going with this tool or not? But that's probably the easiest, fastest way to do it for free. Marco Gomez, shout out to Marco, says, one of my websites got hit by some of the Google updates. I noticed my EAT was very bad. Would it make sense to improve it and add myself as a blogger expert to get traffic back? So it depends which update you got hit by. If you got hit by the helpful content update, I wouldn't expect to get your traffic back anytime soon. There's literally not been a reported case of anybody getting the traffic back and recovering after this update. But in general, should you add EAT to your website? Absolutely. Like, this is one of the easiest ways to signal to Google that you're an authority. Now, I'm not saying it's guaranteed to work, but in SEO, you're playing the percentage game, right? So you're trying to do 100 optimizations to get the results that you want. And so if you can play the 1% in your favor, for example, like doing SEO and doing EAT, then you're more likely to rank. As an example of that, I'm just going to share my screen right here. And this is an SOP that I've got inside my free course. So check out the free SEO course if you want to get access to that. It talks about how I set up a new site to improve its EAT and how I set up the homepage and all that sort of thing. It's an example of that. If you want to see an example of that, let's open up this case study website. I haven't really worked much on it, but I can show you how we use it to demonstrate EAT, right? And I'll talk through some of the elements that we use. So for example, straight off the bat, very easy to figure out how to contact us. That's quite important. If you look at the quality rated guidelines, they talk all about that. And then it shows exactly how to contact us, how to get in touch. We've got a real address with a real business registration number and a real email address as well. Now, on top of that, you can see the social icons linking to our social media platforms right there, which again is another sign of EAT. And we have a chatbot right here where people can easily contact us directly on the chatbot too. These are just easy signals that you can add to your website to make sure you look like a real person. Now, additionally, you'll see right here that shows exactly who I am and who owns the website. As soon as you land on the homepage, it says exactly who I am, who owns the website, what I do, etc. And it's got some unique content that shows me speaking on stage. Now, these are just little signals that you can add to your website, along with this video, for example, and these client testimonials that signal to Google, oh, this is a real person, and there's lots of VAT on the site right there. Now, there's many other ways you can do it. For example, like you can build backlinks to your website. That helps a lot. You can appear on podcasts and get mentions of yourself naturally right there as well. But if you see right here on the about page, it's got some information about me, how to get in touch, my expertise. It's got video interviews showing I'm a real person. So it's quite easy to identify who owns the website, what I'm about, that I'm an expert, and that I'm a real person. Now, as an example of that, if you go onto Google right here, and I'll show you another way to build a lot of VAT at scale. So if we change this to English right here, you can see that directly on Google, it comes up with my name and it says I'm an author, right? And it actually links to one of the books that I published. Now, publishing a book on Amazon directly is one of the easiest ways to build a lot of VAT for your website, because this, number one, is very hard to fake, and number two, it's like you're an actual legitimate author at that point once you published on KDP. So I would say that's one of the best ways to do it. And publishing loads of social media content as well. But yeah, loads of ways to improve your EAT, giving you loads of actionable ways to do that. And then from there, you can just you can just keep building on it. Now, I would say you can't do it all in one day. You can't publish a book and add your social media channels and everything else, but try and look at like, okay, what can I do this week to improve my EAT? What can I do next week, etc. The Kent and Sussex Tea and Coffee Company says, hey, Julian, do you offer a personal consultancy service? So I have the SEO Elite Circle. Links inside the comments and description. Price for that is probably going to go up pretty soon as well, because we're getting so much demand for the SEO boardroom and that price keeps increasing. But if you go in there, if you join the SEO Elite Circle, it's basically a program where you get access to loads of courses. So there's 10 different courses inside there. Comes with weekly action items to grow your SEO traffic based on what's working for me. You can post in the community and ask the community any questions that you have. You can direct message me. So if you want daily consultancy from me, just DM me anytime you need any help and I'll reply to you within at least 24 hours, usually quicker. And then additionally, you can jump on calls with me directly 2 times per week on a coaching call where I can answer any questions that you have. We can go through any issues. We can pull up your website, give you suggestions, etc. That's probably the best thing that you can do. And in fact, we've just added a yearly price for that. So you can buy it on the spot and save a huge amount if you buy it right now. As an example of that, I'm just going to pull up the screen. I'll show you exactly what I mean. So this is the SEO Elite Circle right here. And it's basically the closest thing that I have to personal consultancy. So, for example, you can get live coaching, 2 calls per week directly with me. And if you sign up today, it's only $997 per year, which is pretty cheap. Bearing in mind, you get like over 100 coaching calls directly with me. Pretty crazy right there. So you can sign up, you can pay with PayPal or Stripe or whatever. You can get 1-year access right there. And this is all the stuff you get. So you get live coaching, direct messaging, weekly action plans, SEO case studies, free access to the SEO boardroom is included as well. And then you get the SEO mastermind course, my best SOPs, etc., free AI SEO tools. And additionally, you get loads of other stuff too, right? So you can see all these courses that you get. Now, if you want to see what that looks like in practice, let me pull this up and I'll show you what the classroom looks like. So you can post any questions that you have directly here. You can DM me directly inside the DMs right here as well. You can DM any of the members if you have questions. If you see like, oh, this person is posting a lot about ecommerce SEO, I want to connect with them, then you can DM them directly as well. And then inside the classroom right here, as you'll see, you get the SEO Mastermind, AI SEO strategies, agency mastermind, SEO systems, SEO link building mastery, YouTube SEO, 6-week roadmap, how to white label SEO link building, lead generation methods, guest coaching sessions, free AI SEO tools, local SEO tutorials, traffic diversification. It's pretty insane all the stuff you get. And then as you can see right here, you get 2 calls per week. And yeah, just absolutely amazing what you get in there. I'm adding more and more value to it daily too. KK says, if is clapdown, not sure it's worth your time. I'm happy to take a look, like I say. And then Nana says, is email marketing effective? Any email marketing recommendation plugins for WordPress? If you check out a video, in fact, I'll try and find this one for you right now, and I'll just get the link and send it to you in the chat. And basically, it shows you exactly over the shoulder how I get traffic with SEO and what I do step by step. So I'm just going to let me grab the URL right here. We'll post the URL inside the chat, and you can get access to this video right here that runs you through exactly how I build email funnels. Now, for me, in fact, why don't I just show you what's working for me right now? I think that would help a lot. So I think personally, email lists are probably the best way to get traffic. And I've got an email list of like 50,000 people at this point, just keeps growing exponentially. That's one of the beautiful things about it. Bear in mind, like, if you look at SEO, and we'll pull this up, right? If you look at SEO right here is like very, very slow, takes months. Then you might take off, and then potentially, even if you're doing all the right things, your traffic just goes down to zero like that, right? That's a problem with SEO. So this is the best thing you could do with SEO traffic, I think. And this is what I do with my YouTube channel as well, is over time, I just grow my email list, because your email list will typically just grow exponentially like that. Based on what I've experienced so far, your email list is never really going to disappear. It's never going to drop. If Google comes along, or YouTube comes along, or Twitter or LinkedIn or anyone like that comes along and claps your website, claps your social media channels, email is always going to work. You're always going to have that email list. You own that traffic, right? The problem with a lot of these channels, for example, like YouTube, or for example, Google, or any of these other platforms, they can get clapped at any point. You don't own that traffic. And so your job, I think, as a marketer, is to take that traffic that you don't own and convert it into traffic that you do own. That's the best way to make money out of it. Now, when it comes to email recommendations, let me pull up and show you some examples of how I've converted the traffic. So if we pull up this free SEO course that I give away right here, this course and this landing page converts at 56%. What that means, right, is that 56% of the traffic that lands on this particular page converts into an email opt-in, which is crazy high. It's off the charts high. I don't see many people achieving that, right? Now, the way that I've designed this particular page is using Go High Level. Go High Level is one of the best ways to create a good opt-in page. You direct all your traffic there, converts really well, and then it sends those email opt-ins directly to your CRM, which means that you can convert them and email market to them later. If you want a free plugin, if you don't want to pay for a plugin, then I would recommend MailerLite. I think that does integrate with WordPress pretty well, but either way, building the email list, one of the best things you can ever do. So thanks so much for watching. Appreciate everyone who's watching. I don't think we've got any more questions right there. I've answered pretty much everything I can on the spot. We've been on for nearly an hour, so that was a productive day. But yeah, thanks so much for watching. Appreciate everyone who's been watching right here. And if you do want a free SEO strategy session, feel free to get that. Links inside the comments and description. You can book in a free SEO strategy session. You get an SEO domination plan, discover the secrets of link building, get your questions answered, and discover the best link building strategies for your website, plus how to quickly outrank your competitors with link building. Now, if you haven't already and you're on this and you're not sure about joining yet, I'm going to show you some examples of the SEO boardroom that is popping off. And the reason that I'm showing this is because there's just so many wins coming out of this SEO boardroom. It's pretty crazy. This community where you get loads of stuff. I'll show you what you get in a second. But you can see right here, this comes with basically new case studies and new processes every single day. Now, I did give a warning previously that we're increasing the price. I'm going to do that straight after this call. So if you haven't signed up already, make sure you subscribe and make sure you sign up right now, because otherwise the price is going up again. We increase the price every 10 members. And what you can see right here in terms of what you get, if we pull this up, it's already got 7 5-star reviews, as you can see. You get tons of stuff. Like you get a Discord, You get online courses, you get content, my SEO 1 minute wonders, you get links to loads of free AI SEO tools, and you don't even need ChatGPT for them. You get weekly events, and you can see you get SEO community advice and access 24/7 SEO support, exclusive discounts you won't find anywhere else, my personal SEO toolbox, experiments lab, SOPs. I'm not going to go on anymore, but you can basically see all the value that you get out of there. It's absolutely insane. Like I say, the price is going to go up soon. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't. And thanks so much, everyone who's been watching. If you enjoyed the video, please smash a like on it. See you on the next one. Marco quickly says, I'm just curious, have you used the SEO writing tool from Jesse Cunningham? So I've actually created a new AI SEO strategy that's working for me with proof inside the SEO boardroom. I'm not going to release it publicly after the whole clapping situation and that sort of thing. I don't think it's safe to. But if you want to get access to that, if you want to see what's working right now and which tools I use specifically, then feel free to check that out. And yeah, see you inside. All right. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it as always. Bye bye.